Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Devi Delight, brought to you by expandtheboxscore.com. I'm your host, Ricky Valero. And, folks, today we are going to continue with our player profiles. We're going to continue on with the Big Ten running backs. As always, I'm joined by that little guy to the left of me. And if you're not watching, he's not to the left of you. But, Stoops, how are you today, buddy?
I'm good. I just within my stretch, I realized I have a bruise on my arm somehow. I don't know where that came from, but anyway, I'm doing good, staying busy. I'm still at work. We're not open per se, but still working, staying busy. They cut things down, so of course that just means more of a workload for the ones that are still there. But it is what it is. Again, through this times, can't complain too much. A lot of other things to take into consideration, but definitely excited to dive into this a little bit more. I told you off air, the guy that I'm going to talk about, I wish I would have started the research process a little bit earlier because we're in that Devi auction, and man, I would have definitely bid up on him, but excited. Love doing these player profiles. It gives us a little bit more in-depth information from what we already had previously. So definitely excited to hear who you're going to talk about and dive into the player that I chose.
I agree as well. So before we did that, I wanted to send a special little announcement here. We've got a pretty big week planned next week for Stoops and I. We're going to have a lot of fun. It is draft week, which we're both excited about. We're doing a mock draft live on Sleeper at 8 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Central. We have a couple spots still left, so if you want to join that, hit Stoops up or myself up on Twitter. And then Tuesday, Stoops and I are going to do a live Instagram. We're going to play a little game of like, love, and hate for each position. Follow me on Instagram at @RickyValera_ to find it more close to the date. Wednesday, we'll be streaming live here the same way we have been. We're just going to talk about our final rankings, some last-minute draft thoughts. I'm pretty excited about it, just to kind of, a little tease before the draft, I think. And then Thursday, I'm pretty excited as well. We will be doing a live stream on YouTube, Periscope, everywhere you can watch us. At 7:30 Eastern, we'll be on. The draft starts at 8 Eastern, so we're going to sit there and dissect pick by pick as they happen. We'll have some guests pop in and out. It's going to be a big week, exciting week, and I hope that you guys join us. Stoops, I'm pretty excited, man.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. It was funny whenever you were asking me, let's do something, each day next week. What do you want to do? I literally just said, send me the itinerary and I'm there. Like, just let me know what we're going to do. And I'm excited about it. We're a Devi specific podcast, but these are guys that we've been talking about for months already previously. So I'm excited to finally be able to see their landing spots and, talk about them, the build up to the draft specifically. But I've never gone live during a draft. I've never dissected pick by pick. I've watched them. They're a lot of fun to watch. And I know a lot of people do it. So that's why it's, if you want to jump on, even for 5-10 minutes, if you want to jump on for the Ravens pick, the Jets pick, it doesn't matter, jump on for a couple minutes, talk about it, and we can go in depth with it. That's what it's all about. I know we're one of many that's going to do it, but it's a blast. I've watched others do it. So excited to finally be able to dive in a little bit deeper on our end as well, and just start to expand our horizons. And that's stuff that you've said before as well. We're just trying to give y'all more, and expand our brand, show that we can do a little bit more as well. So definitely excited to get that going as far as next week, all those plans. So definitely excited about the Instagram live. I've actually never gone live on Instagram. Oh, I take that back. I did once, and it was for a couple minutes, and it was kind of just BSing around. Nothing planned. It was just kind of Jeremy Barker over at Back Row. He was live months, actually probably years now. And I think I requested to get on or something, and we talked, and then I left and we moved on. But I've seen you do them a lot. It's fun. I loved going on a tangent, but whenever you were trying to get that one guy back on, I guess something got disconnected and your other buddy jumped on it and he hijacked the show. Basically, it was hilarious, but no, it's going to be fun. I'm excited for what we've got planned next week. I hope everyone enjoys it and, comes in and watches and shares and all that fun stuff. So it's going to be a good time. I'm glad the draft's still happening, even though it's virtually, but it's better than no draft.
It's going to be interesting. You know what I mean? It's going to be weird. It's going to be extremely weird because we're not even going to be know what we're in store for per se. And I'm excited about that. How much is pick tipping going to happen per se?
Mhm.
Because not everybody's in the same ballpark. Um, but yeah, I'm excited about it. It's going to be definitely different, but it's going to be a lot of fun at the same time.
I agree.
All right, Stoops, kick us off with your Big Ten running back.
Yeah, so the Big Ten running back that I'm going to talk about is Mr. Journey Brown out of Penn State. Sophomore, well, now he's going into his junior season. His freshman year, he had a pretty light season, only had 7 rushing attempts for 40 yards. He did have a rushing touchdown with 1 reception and 9 receiving yards. So didn't do a whole lot his freshman season, but this past year, he really broke out. He definitely took over the lead role. I know they still kind of shared some carries around, but Journey Brown was definitely one that took over. He had 129 rush attempts, 889 rushing yards. That's a 6.9 yards per carry. That's absolutely phenomenal. 12 rushing touchdowns. He saw 20 targets out of the backfield for the passing game, caught 15 of them. That's 75% catch percent there. That's phenomenal as well. 134 receiving yards with 1 receiving touchdown and 33 first downs. I think that's a number that we can definitely see increase this coming up season. I think they're really going to start to feed him the ball a lot more. He's got amazing speed. That's one thing I really noticed when I was watching the film. He definitely had good speed. He was able to break away from a lot of guys. He's got a lot of patience when he's running. He sees the hole and he continues to run. And he's hard to tackle. He is very, very hard to tackle. He slips those tackles very, very easily. I loved that. His acceleration, it's there. Like I said, he's patient behind the line. He definitely hits those holes, and his acceleration gets him through there and onward. I was watching some of his, there's highlight film out there, there's game film, there's all that fun stuff. But like I said, he's tough to bring down. And at the 10:06 mark in the first quarter versus Memphis, he broke a tackle at the line of scrimmage. He then stiff armed the next guy to the ground. As he broke that one, immediately stiff armed the next guy to the ground and then continued on for a 32-yard touchdown. So he's just absolutely phenomenal when it comes down to breaking those tackles. Talking about his big plays, in 2019 alone, had 144 total touches. 33 of his touches went for 8 yards or more. That's 22.9%. And 10 of his touches went for 21 plus yards. That's 6.9%. But when you look at his total career touches, he had 19 career touches that went for 14 yards or more, and 8 of them went for a touchdown. That's 42.1% of his touches of 14 yards or more that went for a touchdown. That's absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely love seeing that. And 6 of those 8 touchdowns went for 21 yards or more. One thing that I came across, and I saw this in the comment section actually of a YouTube video that I was watching. His junior year of high school, and again, when you're a prospect, I mean, he was only a 3-star prospect coming out, so he wasn't one of these 5 stars that everyone's talking about. He kind of had to work his way into this. But his junior year of high school, in one game, 29 rush attempts, 722 rushing yards, and 10 rushing touchdowns in one game. That's phenomenal. Again, high school is high school, right? When you're one of those, super ultra talented guys, you're going to have those games. He had others where it was 200 yards, 300 yards, but as amazing as that is, I've never seen someone with 722 rushing yards. I don't think I've even done that in Madden or the NCAA football games. I don't think I've even done that in a video game. He did that in real life. It's just phenomenal. I absolutely loved watching his film. And that's one thing, and I've said this before. I've always been a numbers guy. I still love the numbers. But I've found myself watching more film, one, to see kind of their traits, right? Can they break tackles? Are they fast? Are they slow? Do they have patience? Whatever. So I love doing that. But watching his film, I watched probably 30, 40 minutes of it just straight. Just click play on the next one. Click play on the next one. I just kept going. Absolutely loved watching him. He's definitely one that's going to force my hand to watch some Penn State games because I want to see the ball in his hands. Another thing that I really, really enjoyed or looking into a little bit deeper, his career red zone production. So only had 1 target in the red zone as far as the pass game goes. So it definitely wasn't, overly targeted at all inside the red zone. but he had 26 rush attempts, 98 rushing yards, and 8 rushing touchdowns. Again, this is essentially all coming inside this past season. His freshman year, like I said, it was definitely a little bit lighter. Definitely didn't see a whole lot of the touches. But this past year, he was the guy, I think, and I think coming into his junior season, he's going to be absolutely phenomenal. He's going to be the one that sees a bulk of these targets. He had 19.1% of the scrimmage yards for the entire team, so he was definitely someone they got the ball to very, very often, as much as possible. So I loved what I saw from Journey Brown. I'm excited to see what this next year brings for him. As far because the Penn State offense, they just don't have any ultra talented wide receivers per se. So I think he's going to see a lot more targets outside of the backfield or out of the backfield as well. So we'll see really his abilities in that passing game, which I think he's already shown us. But we're going to see, he had the 20 targets. I think he can go upwards of 35, 40 targets. I think they might double that for him. And I think that's going to be absolutely phenomenal for what we can see from the next level going into the pros, assuming he comes out after his junior season. He might decide to stay for senior, but we'll see. But I think this year is going to be big for him. If he can build off of what he did last year, become 1,000+ yard rusher, let's call it 1,300 yards, even the 12 touchdowns, like that's a phenomenal number. And I think that goes up, but show what you can do in the passing game. And I think it's just going to speak volumes and show that he is a top notch running back in the country and, even a great draft prospect.
Yeah. It's funny. Whenever you were talking about the guy you were going to talk about this week, I slid in, was doing some information. And obviously, as you said, we talked about how we're in the same Devy draft. And you're like, this dude sounds legit. You know what I mean? And it was like, oh, my God, he is legit. And it's like, man, I really wish I would have put some, serious coin down for that guy for sure. The guy I'm going to talk about is Elijah Collins from Michigan State, 6 foot, 194, 3-star prospect. He was the 38th running back ranked in his class. 4.6, 640. Not super fast, but fast enough. Last year, he was on PFF's on the All Big Ten team. He set a freshman Michigan State record, 192 yards in his first game in college. That's insane. You know what I mean? Nothing like displaying what you're capable of doing right out the gate, right? 192 yards on the ground. Over the season, he had 222 carries, 988 yards, 5 touchdowns, 15 catches, 99 yards. I do believe that he's going to see the ball a little bit more out of the backfield. I saw some conversations with the coach and stuff like that. They said they want to utilize him in the out of the backfield a little bit better, which will only enhance his ability, and then of course enhance what you see of him playing 3 downs on Sundays. So, watching his tape, I feel like he's capable of squeaking through some gaps. You know what I mean? He's very shifty. He's capable of just he's just capable of outrunning defenders once he hits those gaps. And to me, it's kind of insane to watch him do that because he has that second tier after the first. After that first hit, he doesn't always go down, and then he breaks it deep for touchdowns, or he just breaks a big game. Last year, the man converted on 55 first downs. I think it's like 1 in 4, 1 in 4.5 touches equated to first downs. 9 out of the 13 games he played in last year, he touched the ball 15 times. They're going to rely more and more and more on this guy. They don't have a whole lot of talent on that offense. And of course, there's some questions at the quarterback position. They're going to have to feed this guy the ball a lot, right? So listen, he was the first freshman to record 300-yard games. Obviously, this is in Michigan State history, but since Javon Rager back in 2004, which when I was doing my research, I completely forgot about Javon Rager until I started talking about Javon Rager. Do you remember Javon Rager?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, well, okay. Now I feel like 2004. All right. I feel old now.
I was 14 years old. So
thanks for that, man. But 47 of his 220 touches resulted in either touchdowns and first downs. He had 11 carries over 20 yards. He's more than capable of showcasing his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield as well. With the offense being more focused on him next year and then running that offense through him, I really, really expect him to have even a bigger year. He's already talked about how his goal for this year is to rush over 1,000 yards. And we're talking about a guy that had he was 12 yards shy of 1,000 last year. So he's already aiming high. I think he's going to be a quick learner, and I think he's going to be really, really good this year.
Yeah, I'm excited to see really all of these guys, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm really, really hoping that we still get a full football season, NFL and college. So definitely to see these guys, especially the younger guys, right, who had the opportunities, whether it be on a full-time role or part-time role, makes no difference to me. I just want to see what they can build on. That's my biggest thing, is what can they continue to build on. So no, I definitely agree. Love what we're going to see. I hope he's able to continue building on everything and just kind of keep going that route. So you got anything else on him, or?
No, that's all I've got on him. But I was thinking about it. I was like, there's some pretty good running backs going into the Big Ten this year. You know what I mean? There really is. I mean, you've got Elijah Collins here. You've got you got Zach Charbonnet from Michigan. I think he's going to be really good this year. And then, of course, Master Teague. It'll be interesting to see. There's a lot of people that talk a lot about Master Teague, but then there's some other individuals on that don't like him as much, that don't think the transition from him to Dobbins is going to be that smooth.
Well, and if I remember correctly, I don't think it's been fully reported, but I think he's injured. I think they said it's a potential Achilles injury. I don't think they've came out and truly said it. So it's going to be interesting, but I definitely think with Trey Sermon go into Ohio State, I think the job's his. I say that, right? He's coming off some injuries as well. So, assuming Master Teague isn't out for an extended period of time, if it's an Achilles, you got to think he's gone for a while, right?
Yeah.
Potentially the entire season, especially if it's a shortened season or whatever. I've even seen also, not to get off of where you're going with it, but
no.
There's been talks, and I don't know how serious the talks were, to essentially shrink the season down as far as total games to only conference games, which it kind of sucks because, there are those out of conference games where, like, I know here up in Dallas at the Cowboys Stadium, where they always have, like I don't remember what they call it, but it's always two top programs in the country, not necessarily 1 and 2 ranked, but two highly touted programs that come up and play each other. So to miss that type of a game is going to definitely be sad to see. But at the same time, if we're still going to get, 8, 9, 10 conference games, like, all right, it's something, right?
Right.
Especially when you get into the Big Ten games, the SEC. I was going to say ACC, but yeah. It's just Clemson, really. There's a couple other teams in there, obviously, but no. So yeah, definitely Big Ten running backs. I think that some of the guys are going to come out of nowhere that we haven't seen, but I think, the guys that we've talked about, I still think Stevie Scott's a guy to really keep an eye on. I got him in that Devy auction for $3. He's a guy to take a chance on, in my opinion. And Trey Sermon coming in, I think that's going to be a big, big thing. But yeah, Zach Charbonnet, I think if I remember correctly, he was a 5-star prospect coming out of high school. So he was definitely someone that was really, really talked about. And I don't think he quite, lived up to, he had a phenomenal season still, I guess, 756 rushing yards, but that Michigan offense, let's be honest. It did
well,
not.
I'm hoping it's going to be better. It should be better with a better quarterback. You know what I mean? It's going to open up a whole lot.
Exactly. So I was watching this one clip, right? And it was talking about the Michigan offensive line. And they basically were saying, like, the blocking. So there's 5 offensive linemen, and they literally threw all 3 of the defenders that were rushing to the ground. So, Well, okay, let me rephrase. 2 of them. One of them did get around the edge, but he was still being blocked. Shea Patterson ran to that guy. Like, you have an open hole in the middle to step up and continue through your reads, or run the ball for 4, 5, 6 yards potentially. No, he runs straight towards the guy, and I don't know what the end result was because it cut off. But that Michigan offense, there was some struggles this past season, and I think, like you said, with a new quarterback under the reins, with Patterson gone, that's the biggest thing. Not even it's a new quarterback, but with Patterson gone, I think Michigan's definitely a team that can take a leap and actually show what they're truly capable of. They do have a good coach. We talked about that on, I want to say it was last week's episode. Very briefly, but I think Harbaugh can definitely coach, right? He's got talent. It's Michigan. They get a top recruiting class all the time. They've got a top running back. They just got to put it together, man. It's like the USC, right? We say this all the time. The talent's there. It's just got to get put together, and we got to see it on a bigger scale. So definitely excited to see what these Big 10 running backs can
I get them
do.
mixed up all the time. I really do.
Well, seeing as how the Big 12 doesn't even have 12 teams,
Well, yeah.
But no, I'm excited for it, man. I just want some football, to be honest
Man.
with you. College specifically, in my honest opinion, but
To be honest with you, I'm just as excited about college as I am the pros this year. But like for me, it's like just please be gone before football
I
season.
know.
I
And
don't
that's
care if they're playing in front of nobody. I don't really care anymore. Just give me some football.
well, and that's gonna be the interesting thing is so like if this continues on for another month or two, I
Yeah.
don't know. What does that mean? Does that mean okay, so a month and a half down the road, cool. Hey, we're opening things up slowly but surely, whatever. But then are they going to say, okay, cool. Granted, we're still There's still a couple months before even the first game would come around. But are they going to say, hey, for the first 3 weeks, I don't know, no fans, or are they going to say, hey, we're only allowing X amount of people in? And I think that would create more chaos than just saying no fans. Um, Especially because people have bought so many tickets already. Man, we've said it before. This is just unbelievable. We've never lived in a time like this, and it's definitely wild to see. But overall, Big Ten running backs, there's a lot of talent there, a lot of new guys and a lot of new faces that we're going to see coming in. And then guys that we've been watching, they're going to start to really get their role, right? They're gonna finally fall into place, and we're gonna see that they're the focal point of that offense. And carries are gonna go up, targets are gonna go up in the passing game, and hopefully that means receiving yards, rushing yards, touchdowns, less fumbles. In some players, instances. And that was the good thing about Journey Brown. He has no fumbles in his whole entire college career, albeit again just 2 years. But we've seen other guys who are upwards of 8, 9, 10 fumbles through 1 to 2 years. So for him to have 0 fumbles, I think that's phenomenal. One thing I do want to see from Journey Brown is more first downs. I think he's got great contact balance, so I think that's going to help with it. But I think we just want to see a little bit higher in that first down mark, keep the chains rolling, and continue to build on that offense. So overall, though, like you said, Big Ten running backs, I think are going to be fun to watch this year. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And folks, next week, Stoops and I are going to deviate from the player profiles just a hair. We're going to talk about all of the picks in the draft, what our kind of, well, not what our rankings are, but what our thoughts are about landing spots, because obviously we've been talking about all these guys for months, but the landing spots now in your fantasy devy drafts, all your drafts combined, it doesn't matter. When you guys are getting ready to do that, now we have landing spots. You know what I mean? J.K. Dobbins can go from RB1 to RB5 because he gets drafted by the Cowboys. Now that's just it's not going to happen, but that's just an example. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. Next week, we're going to do that. Remember the big week that we have planned. Just check out our Twitter pages. We're going to be promoting it every single day. Head on over to expandtheboxscore.com. Check out and utilize this tool that we use week to week. We've got some fun stuff planned here in the near future. So yeah, until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.
See y'all later.